Yeah, okay. So let's start with the session, which is professional speaking and listening. So I have like four sessions or sections for this, which is the psychology of professional communication, and the section two would be mastering vocal, and which would include your tone, pace, and articulation. And section three would be your overcoming communication barriers in workplace. And the fourth section would be digital communication excellence and professional etiquette. So, from my point of view, I think section third and section four are the most important sections because, like there's a lot of people, face a lot of barriers in workplace and everything. So, and also a lot of people or professionals doesn't know how to put on their words or a sentence in a situation which would lead to what a cause or a fight. I mean, like a misunderstanding, but that would be a word, misunderstanding. So that is what digital communication excellence and professional etiquette means. So etiquette is a very good, very important topic that we'll be seeing. I have split into four sections, and then I'll first we'll go with section one and section two, then take like 5 to 7 minutes of a break so that we'll get like refreshing our minds, and then again start with like other two sections, which is section three and section. Okay, so let me start with my section one of my training agenda, which is psychology of professional communication. Okay, so what is psychology? So this is kind of it's going to be a bit of confusing for you guys, but I'll explain it to you all. Okay, so there's like five types of biases here. So which is confirmation bias, anchoring bias, halo effect, attribution. So what are these? So what do you mean by all these? So these are the biases used for communication and understanding. Okay, so that is what Okay, so that is what it is. So here, confirmation bias. What is confirmation bias? So tendency to seek information that confirms pre-existing beliefs. So you judge a person, or you look into a person by their pre-existing belief, like how they think about. Like you take a key thing about them, and then you judge about them through that. So that is what a confirmation bias act likes. And anchoring bias is a very important bias. Over reliance on first piece of information received. With the first piece of information, you're gonna judge a guy or a girl, whenever he or she is joined. That's what it does mean. So that's what it is. And when it comes to halo effect, what is halo effect? Overall impression influences opinion of specific trait. So let's keep Ananya. Okay, so Ananya is our example model over here. So let's keep Ananya is joining a company right now, and then you get to know that she's good at writing. It's just an example. So that's a like specific trait that you get to know about her, and with that single trait, you're going to judge her, or imagine her in a way that you could possibly. So that is what halo effect means. And halo effect is a very important and a very good uh, trick to know about, because when you get to know a specific trait, and when you can judge a person by that specific trait in a correct way or in a perfect way, that would help you to bond with a person, and also uh, connect with that person before handedly, even before knowing them. So that is what it is. So halo effect is a very good effect. And then comes to attribution bias. What is attribution bias? Tendency to attribute others mistakes to character flaws. So you put on their mistakes on the ground. So like with the mistakes of them, you going to judge them. That is what attribution bias. So let's keep so Ananya always forgets to check in on time. So let's keep our check-in time is 9 o'clock in our office. So she always forgets that, and everyone knows about that. So she always checks in by 9:15, 9:10. So she is always delayed. So with that specific mistake, that is a character flaw, which she's not being on time. So with that thing, you're going to judge a person. That is what attribution bias means. So availability heuristic. So judging probability by how easily example comes to mind. So it is just a random judgment you make about a person. Like let's keep like an intuition. That is a great example for availability heuristic. Okay, so intuition is a very good example for judging probability by how easily example comes to mind. So that is how availability heuristic works. So these effects are so important to judge a person. These are not for these are not negative person, but you can judge a person by these effects, like by each characteristics, which is pre-existing belief, like first piece of information, specific trait, a mistake of a person, anything. So that is how these effects help, and like yeah, impact on decision making in team dynamic in professional setting. This would help you with it. Okay, so that is what all about understanding cognitive biases in communication. So let's go on to the next slide, which is the neuroscience behind effective speaking and listening. So what do you mean by neuroscience, you guys? So neuroscience is a very interesting topic, but I just don't want to get into it because it'll turn into a bio uh, thing. So I'll just go on with the examples that is given over there. So your brain processes voice and tone 38% faster than words. That's why how you say something matters more than what you say. You know, can you even understand that? So my mirror neurons create connection between speaker and the listener. That is what it does. Like it creates a very good connection, and it's like a spark. Okay, and the limbic system responds to the emotional tone first. So what does that mean, emotional tone? So when you say or express a thing or an idea or an a pitch in without no reaction on your face, that is not even going to get considered, or they won't get excited, or they won't get eager to listen to you. Okay, so but when you have an emotional tone like an excitement, what do you mean by emotional tone? It's not like crying. That's not what I mean. So it's like excitement, or like the confidence, or the what, like the invention that you made. So I want to show it out to you. So that kind of emotion that you, when you put it on first, the other person will get like an it to listen to you first. Okay, so that is what it is. So, and the prefrontal cortex process logical content second. So what does that mean? So the the frontal cortex process logical contents every second. I don't want to get deep into all these biological terms. So I know I add it all. So I just want you guys to have an idea about how all these works. Okay, so what is amygdala response? Okay, amygdala response, we everyone do this. Now flight or fight, it's like to be Gen Z, let me say a spider tingle. Okay, it's like a immediate response, it's like a quick reaction to a situation or a communication, but amygdala response is not always on your side. Okay, so it is good when you're in a very critical situation and you suddenly take a decision and then it works out. But when you're communicating, when you're angry, or when you're sad, when you're upset, when you use this amygdala response, it's going to end up in a misunderstanding, or like a small fight, maybe a causation of a problems. Okay, so you better watch your words and the way you say the words, before you talk, or pitch in some ideas, in a professional background. Okay, so that is what it is. And neural plasticity, brain ability to receive through communication practice. Yeah, obviously. So let me give a very good example for neural plasticity. So let's keep you're studying German and French and Hindi, whatever it is. You're not going to you will learn to read and write and everything, but you're not going to get the fluency when you do it. Okay, but until and unless you go directly go speak to a person. Okay, let's keep your, I'm learning French right now, and then I know how to write and I know how to read, but when it's time to get communicated with another person, I'm not so confident about myself.
But when I go, go to that city and then spend like 2 or 3 months time over there, mingling with people and connecting with people. So I get to know how they speak and where to speak and what to speak at what time and what words to be used at that point. So I get to learn French by talking to them, which is communication practice. Obviously, in a workplace, there's going to be a cultural diversity, like we saw in the last session. So but to adapt the cultural diversity, the neural plasticity helps a lot. Okay, so that is what it is. So research, okay, the next point is research shows face-to-face communication activates more neural networks. So what is that? So, like I said, when it's pen and paper, there's no much of interaction. But like when it's face to face, there's a lot of interaction. Like there's a lot of neural networks involved. Your eyes, your the way of your face reaction, your facial reactions, your body postures, the way you put it out, the tone. So everything matters. The all the neural active networks are going to get noticed over there and then synchronized, so which is very important. So this is what I mean by interacting with people is way more important. Okay, so that is what all about this slide. So let me go on to the next slide, so which is emotional intelligence in professional setting. So what are there? So self awareness, self regulation, empathy, social skill, motivation. I think we saw all this on the first session. I'll just go deep into it. Okay, so yeah, actually I want to give a small example for the for this slide. So which is, so when you're presenting a quarterly result to your investors, let's keep that. Okay, your tone of confidence will register before your actual numbers. Okay, so the way you put yourself would actually matter than what you did. Okay, so a hesitant tone can undermine even excellent performance data. Do you get it? Like if you're not even confident about yourself, you did a very great job of the project and everything, but your voice is so you're not confident about yourself. So so when you're not confident about yourself, you're going to they're going to think that you did not do a great job. So keeping up your confidence would yeah, guys, just give me a second. Okay. Okay, so that's great. Okay, so let me continue with it. Okay, so that is like a very simple, easy example for you guys to understand. Then, this brings us to a critical role of emotional intelligence in a professional interaction. So that is what this is all about. So let me go to emotional intelligence in professional setting. Okay, so in the corporate world, EQ often, trumps IQ. So the most successful real estate professionals aren't always smartest. They're most emotionally aware. So what I mean by saying that is that a lot of people don't have much of idea about what they're doing, or it's not like not much of what they're doing, but they lack information, but they're so confident about themselves and very good at manipulating, not in a bad way. So manipulating is a very good art, and when you get to know about how to do it very well in your situations, that would be so great. You can escape each and every situation that comes up in your life. Okay, so that's what I mean by your tone and confidence are the best part you can put on yourself. Okay, so the key points would be self-awareness. Self-awareness prevents defensive conversations. So what do you mean by that? So defensive conversation. Let me give you an example. So uh, when you know about yourself, when you know that this is how you're going to react to a thing, when you see the thing coming up to you, you'll stop yourself. You stop yourself. Okay, this is how I'm going to react, and I shouldn't be doing that. So that is what a self-awareness mean. Okay, so that's a very good thing, and also it should be practiced not only on professional setting, it also should be taken up or adapted to normal life. I mean, like for your everyday normal life, because the self-awareness is not an trait. It's like a preset you that you give yourself. Okay, so that is what it is. So then we come to empathy builds stronger, client relationship. You know what is empathy is, right? So we spoke about empathy a lot, accurately reading and responding to others emotional states. So you're like looking into their body language, their facial expressions, the way they put on their ideas, or pitches, the tone. So that is what that is how you empathically read a person and then respond to it. Yeah, and self-regulation. What is self-regulation? So managing emotional responses in high pressure situation. So this is what, okay, this self-awareness and regulation are both of similar, it's a bit similar, but I'll just tell you the difference. Okay, so regulation is that, let us keep so I'm working in my company, and then I'm going to go answer my manager. Okay, so he's there with an very big hike for me, but I'm still mad at him for the work pressure that he gave me for the past few days. So I was planning to go on and then give him a I wanted to lash out on him. Okay, so let's just keep this as a situation. So in this case, if I regulated my anger, if I regulated my anger into something else, I would have taken that hike in a very peaceful way. Because I did not regulate and I lashed out on my manager, saying that you did that to me, you did this to me, and then he I mean, my hike is being getting, it's being, there's a negative point on me. There's a negative look on me on a very good situation. Did you get that? Did you get that example? So that is what self-regulation means. I want you guys to learn this also. Always, try to regulate your feelings, like your sadness, your angriness, your what to say, your loneliness. I mean, loneliness is a very good emotion to be regulated. You can do a lot of things to come up with it. Okay, so that is what a self-regulation means. Okay, what is social skills? I mean, social skills is a normal meaning. It has a normal meaning, which is building rapport and managing relationship effectively. There's nothing to talk about it much. And then comes the motivation, intrinsic drive to communicate for mutual benefit, which is when you're working with a team. When you keep motivating him, you're gonna get used, you're gonna get benefited of that, because his work is going to be your his or her work is going to be your work, and your work is going to be his or her work too. So that's how you guys mutually benefit by motivating each other. And you're not only going to do that, for mutual benefit, please. Okay. So I want you guys to learn that, even in a real life, even if you're not mutually benefited in a workplace, yeah, it's like a mutual benefit. But in real life, in IRL, no. You guys should learn to motivate and, encourage other people when they're doing, some achievements. So yeah, so next let's go on to the next slide, which is building psychology safety in communication. What do you mean by psychology safety in communication? Google's project Aristotle found that psychological safety was the number of one factor in high performance team. How do you create this through communication? Okay, let us see, let us look into it. Okay, so encourage question without judgment. Okay, so you shouldn't be judging a person with their what to say, with their type of question. There's a lot of diplomatic and triggering questions, but you shouldn't be triggered by those questions. You should have that confidence and the strength to answer each and every question in a way, though that gets explained and also makes them shut down. Okay, that's how you're going to build a very good psychological safety. This is good for yourself. This is not no, this is not helpful for someone opposite to you. This is only helpful for yourself. Okay, and then the second thing will be admit when you don't know something. you know Admitting when you don't know something is a very good trait, because let me tell you, like let us keep, okay, like Ananya is a team leader right now. So Ananya is a team leader and she did a mistake. Okay, and the teammates of her, found out that she made a mistake, but still, they couldn't tell her because she's a team leader or something like that. Okay, so somehow they went and pitched her and said that, Ananya, you made a mistake over there. Okay, so if Ananya did not accept her mistake and she was defending herself, all of the team members would have gotten angry at her, and also they would have lost the trust that they had on her, and the drive would have been spoiled. The whole drive would have been spoiled, and they would no longer like to work with her. So but if Ananya accepted her mistake and then worked on her mistake. Okay, so she tried to correct it. They'll get inspired by looking at you. you know Correcting your mistake and admitting it, it's never going to make you weak, but it's always going to make you stronger and look so good on others' eyes. Okay, so that's a very good skill. Okay, that's not even a skill, that's a practice that everyone should take up. Okay, so create space for different perspectives. You should let other people pitch in their ideas so that you get a new whole level perspective, you get a new whole level stage to to improve your idea, to develop and like rebuild your idea. When you let other people's perspective, I'm not telling you to rely on other person's perspective, but when you let them in, you get to know what are the other, you're just keeping your eye open instead of keeping a saddle on your eyes, like the horses do. It just keeps a saddle on both of their eyes, and then it just looks forward. Okay, but when you let in your other you know ideas and perspective, your eyes are going to be open 360, and where you get a whole new level of ideas. Okay, so let me give a small example and then wrap this slide up. Okay, so in property investment discussion, let's keep. So when a junior analyst felt safe to question a senior partner's assumption, so they uncover a zoning issue that saved the company 2 million. Okay, so however, stress and pressure can quickly erode the safety. Okay, so you know here the junior is has questioned the senior that there's a problem, there's a mistake over here, so let's just redefine it, and that redefinition has saved the company like 2 million. Okay, so however, here the stress and pressure can quickly erode the safety. Let's explore how to maintain communication quality under pressure. So that's what we saw on the above two slides. Okay, so the next slide would be the impact of stress and pressure on communication quality. So what are the impacts? Let's just see. Okay, so uh we all been there, high stake presentation, tight deadlines, and suddenly or usually sharp communication skill abandon us. What do you mean by sharp communication skill abandon us? Okay, let me I'll just take myself as an example. Okay, so I speak so fluent now. Okay, so I just all of a sudden my head just go blanks. I mean, my head just go blank, and then I got no words to say, even though I know those words. I'll be feeling like, oh, I don't know this word. I'll be like messing up with my vocabulary. My head would be messing up with my vocabulary. See, even now, can you see that? So that is how it's done. Okay, I mean, that's like an impact. It's, I mean, right now I'm not under stress or pressure. It's just I'm maintaining the flow to make you guys understand how it is going. Okay, so let me put give tell you all those key points that's present over there, and suddenly sharp. Okay, so cortisol narrow focus on reduced creativity. So cortisol effect, what does it mean? So it just suddenly reduces your creativity. It just makes you feel numb, not with your not with your physical feeling, but like an emotional thing. It is like, let's keep you won't you always come up with an idea, and suddenly you won't even come up with an idea. It's like, I don't have no ideas, what should I do right now? There you won't see a way out. You'll be stuck over there. So that is what cortisol effect means. So, and then like we saw, flight or fight, that's like an this thing, it can be positive or negative. Okay, so which is let's keep in a tight pressure situation. When you're when you're escaping an fire accident, flight or fight can be helpful, but under a high tight pressure, like when you're angry, you're using fight or flight response, it's not going to help you. I hope at that point you guys, regulate your emotions. Okay, so that's what it is. So preparation and breathing techniques maintain clarity. It's just, always breathing in and breathing out. It just give you a bit of a clarity from what you're facing right now. Okay, so that's all about it. You can just take a screenshot of this if you want. This is like a tunnel vision over here. So high pressure, narrow focus, and reduces creative thinking. Cortical effect and tunnel vision, it's both similar but in a different way. Okay, so flight or fight, you guys know what it is. And communication breakdown patterns, how stress manifests in workplace interaction. Okay, so that is what it is. So how does it, uh so like an everyday thing. Okay, so let's keep, okay, like you and your teammates have a bond. Okay, so that's the bond is like, let's keep, it's so usual between you guys to mock each other. Okay, so you guys mock each other every day with an like an inside joke within you guys. Like normally it used to feel like, okay, it's like a joke, but suddenly it will feel like triggering for you guys. Okay, so that is what it means, communication breakdown patterns. Suddenly, the usual thing feels like so unusual for you, and it will get triggered you. It will trigger you, and the other person would be so confused. Okay, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? I was doing the normal thing that we always had. So that is what it means. Okay, so recovery strategies, technique for maintaining communication effective under pressures, and researchers show decrease in communication effectiveness during high stress period. So what does that mean? Like, it's just trying to tell about recovery strategies, which is breathe in and breathe out. Okay, so preparation for breathing techniques, maintain clarity. Okay, so you try to, in a very tight pressure situation, I hope you guys take a relaxation time, like for 30 seconds at least, which is like you can go out, take a fresh air, like you can just clear your mind out, or go on, play some table tennis, like some sport which you like, just to escape the, just to, distract yourself. So something like that. So let me give a, example. So during crisis management meeting after major tenant bankruptcy, the most effective leaders slowed their speech, lowered their voice, and spoke with deliberate clarity. So here, why did they do that? So panic communication creates more panic. Okay, do you get it? So speaking of retention, let's examine how memory works on professional context, guys. So we'll just work on it. This is the thing where we can work on. It's not like we can't work on it. Okay, it's a very good thing if we worked on it. Okay, so the next page would be memory, information, and retention. Okay, in professional context. So what does it mean? Here's a sobering fact. Okay, so people forget 50% of what you tell them within an hour. I mean, obviously, I don't know how many of you guys, remembered my last session. Do you guys remember? I don't know. Your mutes are all, mics are all muted. But I don't know. It's that is so true. Like everyone, including me, in 1 hour we forget everything. Okay, so but there's a way to make your message stick. This is going to be a bit interesting for you guys, where you can, I want you guys to be in, all years, with me for this slide. Okay, so what are those? So let me give you some like key points. Okay, the primacy and recency effect and presentation. What do you mean by primary and recency effect? So people remember first and last information best. Okay, so is it like, do you guys remember what was the first, topic that we took? Okay, okay, I can't hear you guys, but anyways, I'll look into the chat box later. Okay, so yeah, and visual and emotional content improve retention. Okay, so yeah, I mean, That is the main thing. That is I mean, the visual representations are always, it always matters. That is why I added like few small picture visual representations over there. I don't know whether it's helping you guys, but I just felt it would gain your attentions. Okay, so, and then repetition and storytelling creates lasting impact. Yeah, okay. Repetition, I actually do repeat myself with a point where I feel so important. I don't know about others, but whatever point I feel it is so important, I keep repeating repeating it to you guys. Do this, do that, keep this guys as a practice keep this practice as a very important thing, guys. Like, I'll keep repeating it, like, let's keep your social communication, your self-awareness, self-regulatory, all those points I keep repeating it, and you will see in the whole session I'll be repeating it. Okay, so that is how you keep you try to register it to another person. And yeah, cognitive load theory, managing information complexity for better comprehension. So I could have written a whole story in this PPT right now, but if I do that, you guys are not it won't be even interesting for you guys to read the whole thing out, right? So it's just, if you be just so precise, and if you just be so apt to what you're going to say, it would be helpful for the other person to understand it and also remember it. So that is what cognitive load theory means. So this is all about this slide, and this is a very important slide. It would be very useful for you guys in the future. So if needed, you can just take a screenshot of this. Okay, so I'll just give you like 2 seconds for the screenshot. So yeah, let me go on to the next slide, which is persuasion, psychology, and influence technique. So what does this technique means? Okay, so ethical persuasion isn't manipulation. Like I said, manipulation is not manipulating for in a bad case. It is helping people make decisions that benefit everyone. In real estate, this skill is invaluable. Okay, so what does it mean? Okay, so I mean, it is invaluable in I mean, when it comes to all those real estates and lands, and because you can't manipulate a person saying that this is good, this is a better land, this is a good land, because that would be a cheating. So that is what I meant by invaluable, when it comes to real estate. Okay, let me just go to the key points over here. So reciprocity, give value before asking something. Okay, so you got to reciprocate what your opponent is trying to say. Okay, before you say or before you ask, you're going to know what he's concluding or she's concluding with. Okay, that reciprocity is it's a very good trait. Okay, so you guys can look into it. Okay, and then social proof, reference similar and successful situation. Okay, social proof, what do you mean by that? Proof. So in social proof, you would be like, what to say, let's keep okay, I am a businessman. Okay, let's keep I am a businessman over here, and then Ananya, on the side of mine, she's starting a new business. Okay, so I'm here talking about my experience, telling her how I got succeeded, and I'm giving her some proof that this is how I got succeeded, and these are the situation what took me here. So those are called social proof. Okay, so that's what it is. Authority, what is authority? I mean, you know what is authority? Like establishing credibility early. So these are the principles that we need to follow here. Okay, so logical appeals, using data, facts, and rational arguments effectively. So when you're explaining to influence people, to manipulate people, I mean, I'm telling you again, manipulate. I'm not using it for a bad reason or a bad way of thinking. Manipulating is an art. To be honest, it is an art which where you can get benefited as well, you can give a benefit to another person. So this is an art, and try to learn this art in a very proper way. Okay, so let me go on to it. logical appeals. So using data, facts, and rational arguments effectively. So you put your facts and data on a proper way, and that is going to make the opposite person rethink the whole idea. Okay, so that is what it is. So emotional appeals, connecting with values, fears, and aspirations. So if you're you can connect with them, like like emotionally, by patting them, like giving them emotional support, like giving them some motivation, giving some cheering them by giving what to say, cheering up with their ideas. That would give them a trust on you, and where you can also put on your idea and influence them to work on your idea, because you gain that trust already. Okay, so that is what emotional appeals work like. Okay, so credibility building, establishing expertise and trustworthiness. So what do you mean by establishing expertise and trustworthiness? That, like I said, it with emotional appeals and logical appeals, you can gain the trust and the expertise. You're going to show them how good at what you're doing, and showing them how good you are is going to give them the trust, and it's going to give them like thinking that you're like an master for them to do work on this. So they'll keep asking for your guidance, and then they'll seek help from you, can which where you can eventually influence them with your idea. So that is what it means. Okay, so framing effects. What is framing effects? How information presentation influences perceptions. Okay, so the way you say it, that is what framing effects means. Okay, the way you say it. Okay, let's keep uh okay, I mean, this is a very small example. This is like a stupid example. Let's keep. Okay, so I like chicken. Okay, and when I'm going out with my friends, like, okay, let me keep. I'm going out with a friend who also eats non-veg, but he doesn't like chicken. It's because he don't have a good idea about it. But I wanted him to eat chicken because I want a good company, and so that we both can share a good memory, eating chicken and everything. So if I just go tell him, yeah, chicken, yeah, it tastes good, you should try once. No, he's not gonna do it, because he's been not liking it for years, man. Okay, so but yeah, he still eats non-veg. I'm not manipulating a guy who doesn't eat non-veg. He's a guy who eats non-veg. He eats mutton, beef, and everything, but not chicken. So okay, uh, so I'm here. I'll be telling him, man, you should try this out. So this piece of meat is so good, in this texture and the gravy, and you should try this once, and you're gonna love it. So when I say this, he'll get an itch to try it. He'll get an what like a small craving to try it. So when he takes the first bite, his idea might change. His total idea might change. His total hate.
That's what we were talking about framing effects. So, and then comes the timing and context, optimal moments for persuasive conversation. I mean, this is not a big deal. Okay, so I don't think this might be so useful. Okay, so yeah, let's go on to the next thing, which is trust building through communication patterns. So, what does that mean? So, I think I need to speed up a bit. So, I hope you guys cope up. So what is trust building through communication patterns? Okay, so I'll just tell you a small example. Trust is the currency of professional relationship. In the investment of world, trust literally translates to dollars. So what does that mean? I mean, consistency between words and actions. It just plays a very important role. Transparency about limitations and risk. It also follow through commitments. All these pattern, it's just going to give you a magical add up to your total attire. Okay, so that's what it is. So yeah. Okay. So let me give you a small example. So one of the most successful property manager, always gives clients both optimistic and conservation occupancy project. Like, when reality falls between these ranges, trust increases because expectations were properly set. You know, with this psychological foundation in place, let's move to mechanics of powerful vocal delivery. So which would be we'll be looking at it in the next slide, which is vocal mastering vocals. So this is going to be like an addition to all what you saw. Okay, it's like that. It's like a section was what section one was like a base, and section two is like an implementation. Okay, so that's how we can take it. Okay, so the science of voice and its impact on professional presence. What do you mean? So your voice is your professional signature. Okay, within seconds of speaking, people make judgments about you. And about your competence. Okay, confidence and also credibility. Okay, they're gonna look what kind of person, what person, or what type of person, or what you're going to do in the situation with one single etiquette, which is voice, which is vocal delivery. So, let me put on with lower pitch voices, so that you can convey your authority. Okay, so when you lower your voices, yeah, when you lower your pitched voice, it's just going to give them a very good that's going to give you an authority. It's going to make another person feel like you're dominated. Okay, so that's what it is. So that is why you need to pitch your voice down. And vocal fry undermines professional credibility. What do you mean by vocal fry and uptalk? Modern speech patterns and their professional implications. So vocal fry is the speech, you give about the product or the idea that you're going to talk about, the depth you go about it, the idea that you put on about it. So that is what what they mean by vocal fry. Okay, and breath support affects vocal power. Okay, even right now, I'm like literally continually speaking for like an hour. Let's keep okay, like for 50 to 55 minutes until now. Obviously, when you do it in a very large scale, you're gonna get like a huge breathing. Like you're gonna breathe up a lot. Okay, so but when you control it, when you know how to control your breathing, breathe in through your mouth and through your nose out. When you know that thing, it's going to make it easy for you to give a very confident speech. It's going to with your chest up. Like, let me give you a small gesture. Okay, so where you're standing in a stage, with a whole lot of whole lot of crowd in front of you, and you're just getting panicked. Okay, you're just getting a deep breath, with your chest up, and then that's gonna give you a quick and a very sudden confidence. I'm not kidding, guys. I'm not kidding about this. That is really going to work on you guys. Okay, you guys should try this. Even in front of your mirror. Let's just take like 2 to 3 minutes of speech. You just talk in front of your mirror, and you just see how much breathing you would be doing. Even in front of your mirror. But when you come to know about this breathing exercise, man, you're going to slay. I mean, to be so Gen Z. Okay, I just use these kind of word to just keep it more interactive. Okay, so just don't mind about me. Okay, so yeah, that is what it's all about. Okay, so about vocal fry. So I mean about beat support. So, and then we are going to go on to the next thing, which is tone modulation for different business context. Okay, so what are business context? Okay, your tone should change like your wardrobe, appropriate for your occasions, but always professional. This is what I tell you guys. Okay, so there should be an change, there should be an situation, there should be an differentiation between the situations. Okay, so that is going to make you guys look way more richer with no money. I'm not kidding. It's going to give a like a very good look on yourself, guys. So let us go. Let us go down a bit deeper into it. Formal tone for broad, presentation, and conversational tone for team meetings, and empathetic
tone for difficult conversations. I know what all these situations mean. I mean, we spoke about it a lot, but I'm here telling what how the tone here can be changed. Formal tone, conversational tone, and empathetic tone. Okay, so that's all about this modulation, which business context. Okay, so that is a very good thing. I mean, I love taking this session, guys. Oh my god. Okay, so real world. Let's go on with the next thing, which is pace and rhythm in professional speaking. So what is rhythm? Okay, so think of a speech pace like driving. Okay, think like, what do you mean? You need to match the speed of to the conditions. Did you get it? Like, see, when I wanted to convey a very particular point, like a very specific example or a very specific situation, I'm going to lower my pace. I'm going to deepen my voice, and then I'm going to give it some importance, like a priority, like how I'm doing right now. Can you just say my pace has been lowered down right now? So that is what pace and rhythm in professional speaking means. Okay, so slow down for complex financial data. So if you slow, like, obviously, like when it's financial data, each and every single number is being, it's a priority. So you guys need to slow down for the registration in the mind. Okay, so and speed up for energy and enthusiasm. Okay, for very rhythm to maintain attention, that is so important, so important. Okay, so wearing your rhythm, it would it will literally gain your attention. Let me give you a very good example for wearing a rhythm. It's, I know everyone would have came through it. Okay, let's keep like our class teachers taking attendance in our school. Okay, so she'll be taking in the same pace. Okay, like I'm not all the teachers, but one of my teacher in my school, I mean, I hated her, to be honest. Okay, so she had a same pace, like her, like it'll be like so sleepy and everything. But when the attendant comes up, her voice will be increased, and her energy will be like Vishal. Okay, so when she says that with an rhythm, and when she says with a specific tone, I know that she's taking attendance, and I'll again come back to the attention, and then I tell her present. This is like a small example that I'm giving you guys. Okay, so just try to understand. Okay, so and then the next one would be articulation and enthusiasm technique. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, mumbling might be acceptable at coffee shops, but in the boardrooms and every syllable matters. Okay, so okay, what do you mean by mumbling? Mumbling is like, you go, like you speak, you murmur. Okay, that is what you mean by mumbling. Okay, uh, practice difficult industry terms. Open your mouth wider for clarity. Okay, so when you're mumbling, it's better if you open your mouth for more clarity. Even that doesn't make a clear sense. And if you have a good mouth, lip sync, that would make another person to read your lips too with us with a minimal voice. Okay, so use your tongue twister for warm up. I mean, it's just like a small practice that I've added over here. Tongue twisters, it's like an interesting task, also a very good addition to your etiquette. So the next one, volume control and projections in various settings. Okay, so what does that mean? So mastering vocal. Okay, so I mean, all these kind of things. There's like a common thing. Your voice should fill the room without overwhelming. This is especially crucial in video conferences where your audio quality varies. Right now, guys, can you see, like, my audio varies, I guess. Okay, I'm not sure about it, but yeah, I got an info that my voice is a bit low. So I mean, it does varies, and we need to work on it. Like, so when you're presenting something, it is so important to keep it more clear. So we need to work with those. So how can you do it? So match volume to room size and acoustics. Okay, so you should know how much energy you should spend on depending on the space and the place that you're being. Okay, so now I'm in a room. Okay, I'm in a room, so I can use this kind of energy. When I'm in a smaller room, when I'm in a very small space, stuck space, I can use a bit lower energy, even though that will be more effective. But I'm in okay, let me I'm doing this, sitting in a hall. Just imagine how much energy should I take up, to present you guys. So it really matters. Okay, so and that's what it means. And project from your diaphragm and not from your throat. Okay, I guess you guys can differentiate between your diaphragm and then your throat. When you speak through your throat, it's gonna get so dried and you're not going to last up for this long. Okay, but when it's come from your diaphragm, it's just that is the that is the main process that it should be doing. And it's like a healthy exercise for the diaphragm to to make your voice louder and then more bolder. Okay, so that is what it is. And test audio levels before important presentation. i mean uh, it's just like a testing. It's just making sure that you're fine with your tone and your audio settings. Okay, so that's what all about this. And managing vocal stress and fatigue. Okay, so what does this mean? uh, Professional speakers treat their voices like athletes treat their body, like athletes treat their body. Okay, so with care, preparation, and recovery. So stay hydrated throughout your long meetings, and then avoid vocal strain from shouting or whispering. And also rest your voice between presentations. So what do you mean by rest your voice? So when it's not like a very important thing, I just go lower down with my voice and then just be speaking like normally to you guys. Okay, so that is what like a lowering voice, and just rest your voice for a while to just regain your energy. Okay, so that is what it is. So, and the next thing will be using pauses strategically for emphasis. Okay, I hope you guys you're coping up with my pace right now, because this is a 1.5 hour session, and then it should be I think it will take up like or 10 to maybe 5 to 10 minutes extended. Okay, so yeah, using pauses strategically for emphasis. Okay, so what does that mean? Silence isn't empty space, okay, in your presentation. It's punctuation that gives meaning to your word. Okay, let me like a dramatic pause. Okay, so when let me give you a very good example. Okay, I know everyone here knows about Talaivar, okay, Rajnikant and everything. Okay, so whenever you see his movie or watch his movie, he's going to say a dialogue and then give a pause with a very loud background music, like a mass background music behind him. Okay, that is because it's going to give that dialogue a very good outlook and a very good powerful state. It is making it like a very powerful statement. Okay, so that is what like a dramatic pause means. Okay, so use silence to let complex information sink in. Okay, so what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Use silence to complex, information sink in. You should be calm enough to let the other information also to be gathered. Okay, so that is what it is. Don't fill pauses with or that makes us so indecisive. Do you get it? Like that pause. I mean, sometimes I do it too. Okay, it's not like I don't do it, but I need to work on it, and I'll be working on it from my side. But it just gives like a very indecisive looking for a person. Okay, so that is what it is all about. Using pauses strategically for emphasizes. Okay, so yeah, let's go on to vocal variety to maintain engagement, which is the next thing. So monotone is the enemy of engagement. Okay, let's just keep. I'm talking about. Okay, hi guys, how are you? This is a presentation. This is how it's going to be like. And if this is the tone I'm going to put on with you guys won't be even interested to uh give a look at my presentation or this meeting. You just guys gonna put turn on this meeting and then sit away, for the sake of attendance. So I do like it shouldn't be like that. So always a vocal variety, maintain an engagement like we saw before, and it always plays a very important role. Okay, and even the most exciting investment opportunity sounds boring in flat voice. Even an important thing, even a what to say a birthday, very exciting, like let's keep like a 18th birthday, even that, if you sing your birthday song in a tone voice, that's all gone, the is getting ruined over there. So always have that cheerfulness, confidence, and the variety in the vocals. Okay, so yeah, change volumes for emphasizes, alter pace to match content. Okay, so according to the content, change your paces. Okay guys, that's a good thing. Okay, so the next one would be breathing technique for confident delivery. I mean, I wanted you guys to take a screenshot of this, whoever is looking into this, because I'm not kidding, this helps me a lot. Okay, in a lot of areas. Okay, in my college, I've done a lot of outreaches. I've hosted a lot of events, and to overcome my crowd or stage fear, all these techniques helped me out. This everyone says, breaking barriers are the most effective thing. Yes, it is, but breaking barriers is done through through techniques, and this is the main and most important technique, I would say. Okay, so you can take a screenshot of this, and let me just summarize it. Okay, practice diaphragmatic breathing, like I said, using deep and supported breath for your vocal power. Okay, you'll get to you when once you start talking, you'll get to know about that. And take deliberate breaths during presentation. In between, you should even the opponent or the opposite people shouldn't even know that you're taking your breathe, taking that breathing exercise. It shouldn't be even known. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, using breathing to calm nerves. Okay, so this is all about it. You guys can take a screenshot and then you can work on it. Okay, and then adapting vocal style for different audience, like we saw formal style, conversational style, instruction style. It's just the cliche thing that we saw already. So here comes section 3. It's 8:10 and I have like 20 minutes to cover this, cover like 2 sessions. And I, like I said, I want you guys to take like a 5 to 3 minutes break, as we took a break before when my laptop crashed. So let's just take a break for 3 to 2 minutes. Let me just drink some water, and then we'll go on with section 3, which is overcoming communication barriers, and the fourth section. Okay. Okay, guys. Great. So yeah, let's get back to it. I hope you guys took a small break. Uh, so yeah, I also see a lot of people playing here with those emojis. I mean, it is so interesting to see on my screen. So yeah, that's great, guys. I wasn't able to see all these, from the start. Okay, thank you all for all those poppers and thumbs ups. Yeah, I'll just start with my presentation right now. So yeah, uh, section 3, overcoming communication barriers in the workplace. So what does that mean? So let's keep, communication breakdown costs business billions annually. The first step to prevention is recognition, which is identifying common workplaces communication obstacles. Okay, so what is all about. So let me just put on some with put you guys with like few key points. Okay, information silos between departments. What is information silos? Information overload, like too much data leading to processing paralysis. For one single instance, you put on like multiple data, that is going to get confused, and you're not going to get the accuracy that you're are seeking for. Okay, so always like overloading the information is always deniable, both in normal, like for an example, I mean, my dad personally, he would give me like 10 to 10 to 15 sentences for one single job, which would be like, go just bring me the water. It would be like, just boil it, and then pour it in the glass, and then bring it in a plate. I mean, I'm just giving you guys an example. Okay, he's not like that, he's a very sweet guy, to be honest. Okay, so it's just like, I'm just giving you guys an example. So when when the data is being overloaded, you're going to get first confused, and then you're going to rethink what's your purpose. So better don't overload it. Okay, so assumption about shared understanding. Okay, so assumption about, what is assumption? So you guys need to what assume the shared, when you guys are working on a data, you guys need to work on it and assume the same, like, so that you guys are in the same page. Do you get it? Like, that's what it's all about. So technology failures and email miscommunication. Okay, so these are an obstacle. Okay, so like, even like, when I do those interviews, all those things, there'll be like a technical issue where the time zone differs, and like, emails won't be sent to a particular person, and then I had to again recheck and everything. So these are like small communication obstacles. So the other person might think, okay, I'm not selected for this interview, like, that's, he'll be feeling a regretful thing. But those are all like small communication obstacles. So yeah. And then the next one would be language barrier and multilingual team dynamic. So what does that mean? So in our interconnected business world, language barrier aren't just about the different languages. They are about different communication style within the same language. Like I said, like like I said, it's not even like I said, like we saw before, all the slides, we saw different types of tones, we saw different type of vocal speed paces, where to increase your voice and where to lower your voice, and where to depth your voice, and where to take a rest voice. We saw all those, and that's what we are going to look into. Okay, so speak slower and clearer with non-native speakers. Okay, what does that mean? Speak slower and clearer. Non-native speakers. So when you know Tamil and when the other guy knows Hindi, so you need to make it a bit clearer for him with like few keywords. Let's keep how many, I don't know how many guys of you here are Tamil. Okay, so the example is, I want to go have some tea. So you're going to say that in Tamil, நான் போய் கொஞ்சம் டீ குடிக்க போறேன். So here, tea is the key word, that the Hindi guy is going to take, because he's not going to know what, he don't know how to speak Tamil. So the T is the key word, and then he's going to take it up. Okay, so that is what speaks slower and clearer with non-native speakers. Okay, so avoid idioms and cultural references. Like I said in the before, session, like before module, part one of this module, moving between language and communications, like always, like never use cultural references. Okay, it is going to create a big misunderstanding, and it's better if you support them, but if it's not, you better don't talk about it. Okay, so that's all about it. And confirm understanding through summary, which I say, which is technically like I said, when I'm going to have some tea, the tea is a keyword, and with those keywords you're going to try, like when you're getting that sentence, you are going to summarize the sentence with that one keyword. So that is what confirming like an understanding mean. Okay, and then the next slide would be general communication differences. What are those? So like baby boomers prefer phone calls. Millennials love emails, and Gen Z like us expects instant messages like iMessage, Instagram, Snapchats. There's a lot. I mean, like, how do we bridge these communication preferences? How do we bridge them? Adapt a medium to audience preference. Okay, so let's keep. Okay, when you're trying to reach when you're trying to reach 80, people who are around 60s, 60s or 70s, you're going to reach them through radios, you know uh, like newspapers, posters, because they would be so impressed by that, not through Instagram, Facebook, or anything, because they don't know about it's not like they don't know about it, but they don't believe it. Okay, so it differs from each and every generation. So there's like generation from what we see: Generation X, Millennials, and Generation Z, Gen Z. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, so and respect different feedback styles. Okay, and adjust formality levels appropriately. So according to each generation, your formality level should be uh, varied. It should be tuned for each and every generation. Okay, people of generation. Okay, so that is what generational communication differences mean. And then we're going to go into technical jargon and simplifying complex con- uh, concept. Okay, every industry has its secret language in real estate, okay, and finance. We're especially guilty of speaking in acronyms and technical terms that exclude others. What do you mean by that? Okay, so let me make it simple for you guys. Define the term before using them. Okay, define the term. See, I always define a term. So when I say, even if it's a simple word, so when I say, okay, let's keep, like, say example, I always, like, from this session, let me take manipulation. I said what manipulation is and how I use manipulating for, and how we can use, and why should it be used. So that is how you define a term before using them. Okay, so because a term, it varies from person to person. Okay, so a word can have different meaning for each person. So it should be defined for according to the person's comfortability. Okay, and use analogies to explain complex concepts, like an example, or like a visual representation, or with an like we saw before, like a proof, social proof. Okay, so check for understanding regularly. Check for what do you mean by that? So if you're not understanding it, you can clear it with, like, asking follow-up question, or you can give them like uh, a doubt by yourself, and that by that through that you can just understand it regularly. Okay, so that's what all this is about. And the next slide would be status and hierarchy impacts on communication. What does that mean? Okay, so power dynamic, and can turn simple conversation into complex negotiation. How do we communicate effectively across organizational level? Let me make it simple for you guys. Okay, so encourage upward communication. What is upward communication? Strategies for effective boss communication. So upward communication means you're taking an upper hand, like an initiative, and you're pitching in with an idea, and you are telling them the workflow, which would make them, and which would give you an upper hand from other people, from the other teammates, maybe, or the other fellowships. Okay, so that's what it is about. And adapt style without losing authenticity. Okay, adapt a style, which means uh, they're going to recognize you with that. Okay, okay. So when Vishal is going to present here, he's going to take up the style, and this is how it's going to be like. He will come up with an expectation, and it should be done. That should be adapted by everyone else too. Okay, so that is what adapt a style without losing authenticity. Authenticity, what do you mean? By not changing yourself. Okay, so that is what it means. Okay, create a safe space for honest feedback. So after the session, I would be answering your question and answers, and that would be my honest feedbacks. Okay, so that I will take it as feedbacks, and I would be giving you guys like a honest feedbacks. Okay, so that is what it's all about. So create a safe space, create a comfortable space, so that you get to know your flaws, you get to know your pros and cons and everything, so you can fix it. Okay, that's going to make you better and better each and every day. Okay, so and the next the next slide is going to be about physical environment barriers. So what are those barriers? Okay, the best communication strategies can't overcome a bad connection or a noisy environment. Okay, so I'll just make it simple for you guys. Test technology before important calls. Okay, like we already spoke about that. Example. So choose appropriate meeting space. Okay, so when you're talking like a very confidential thing, a boardroom would be more uh, applicable. But when you're talking like a chill office gathering, like you can go to a cafe, you can go to a restaurant, like you can eat and then talk. It's something like that. It's like you can just choose it according to your preferability. Okay, account for distractions and interruption. Okay, so you just need to take accounts for you, like when you're interrupting someone, you need to have a style to interrupt them. We saw it in the last session how to interrupt conversation. So that is what it is all about. Okay, so this is what about physical and environmental barriers. And then you can, as you see, there's a lot of challenges, and we also know how to overcome those. Okay, so and the next one is going to be time constraints and communication efficiency. Okay, what does that mean? Everyone's calendar is packed these days, and attention spans are shrinking. I saw a reel recently where it said a reel more than 15 seconds, take it doesn't take the attention. It doesn't have the attention if the reel is more than the 15 seconds. And that is so shocking for me, because look what have happened to us. Our attention span has been reduced enormously. Okay, so it has been, so how do we communicate effectively in time constrained world? Like, I'll just break it down for you guys. So lead with conclusion and then provide supporting details. Like with a limited time, just give a very clarified point and a very constrained, apt ideas and points which would make it more clear and understandable. Use structured format for efficiency. A structure for an meeting or structure for an idea is very important these days. It can be never like I can spend how much ever time I want to you know pitch in this idea. No, it's not going to happen in these days. Everyone is time constrained. Even like a jobless person is time constrained because he wanted to search for another job. Okay, so everyone is stuck up with an each and every other, because the competition is so high, the demand is so high, everything is so high right now, so that no one has time in their hands right now. So everything matters. Okay, and uh, respect time boundaries religiously. Okay, so like I said, today the meet should be ending at 8:30, but it's apparently going a bit further. I should be constrained, but excuse me for like another 10 minutes. Okay, so this is a small example from my side, like a real life example. uh and the third, and this is what all about this time constraints. And the next slide would be conflict resolution through strategic communication. So, what are those? So, conflict is inevitable in business, but communication breakdown during conflicts are optional. So, listen to understand. Okay, not to respond. Okay, find common grounds before addressing differences. Focus on interests and not positions. Okay, from these points, what you get to know is that always don't try to show what you have. But I mean, it is important to show what you have, but not all the time. It's always important to seek all the information and see what you can do with it. Okay, so that is how it all about this you know uh, slide. Okay, and guys, after this slide, it's not important. I mean, as we are running short in time, I'll just move on to the section 4, which is digital communication excellence and professional etiquette. Okay, so I'll just take like few minutes to finish this off, and then we'll move on to the next. thing, whatever it is. Okay, so yeah, email communication best practices and etiquette. What do you mean by that? Okay, so the average professional sends 40 emails per day and receives 120. Okay, and that is true. How do we cut through digital noise with clear, effective communication? Okay, so let me break it down for you guys. Write clear and specific subject lines. Okay, make it like you guys need to give the subject. You just give them the subject, what is all about. If it's what, if it is an interview, don't tell there's a meeting at 9:30 and we're going. Just tell interview at 9, interview at let's keep, if it's our cap, interview at our cap. Okay, so just make it tight and strong. Okay, and use bullet points for complex information, and know when email isn't the right medium. Okay, so you're sending email is only, it's not the only medium. And what to say, there's a lot of other mediums, like Google Meet, Zoom calls. There's no other uh I mean, like, mediums to communicate. That is what it's all about. This is like a small thing. I mean, you guys know about this. So, video conference. What is video conference preference and professionalism? So, video calls are now are the new conference room, your digital presence in your professional presence. Okay. So, how can you show yourself confidence here in a video conference presence? Okay. So, let me put it down for you guys. Okay, position camera at your eye level so that you have a straight view and a very confident, that will make you a very confident outlook. And then ensure good lighting and a clear audio, obviously. And then master the technology before important calls. Okay, so what do you mean by master the technology before important calls? Is just checking your audio, your cameras, like, is just checking all those technical things before the meeting. So let's keep here the body language, posture, and gesture. Okay, so participation, contributing effectively in virtual group setting. So all these matters. So this is all about video conference presence and professionalism. So let's come to digital communication platform and security. So with great digital connectivity comes great responsibility. So professional communication must balance efficiency with security. So what do you like? Do you guys understand what I'm trying to tell you guys? Because when it's all about digital connectivity, it's not, see, it is like a responsibility that you take up when it's digital. Because there's like, there's a lot of things that won't be get that we won't get satisfied when it's real, right? Like, so here we take responsibilities for most of our actions, so like professional communication and everything. Okay, choose platform appropriate for information sensitivity. So let's keep, if we're talking like, if you're sharing an information like about a venue or about a meeting, or where is this happening, like something like that, you can use emails or WhatsApp messages. Okay, or you can also use Google chats. Okay, so something like that. But when you need to share some confidential informations, but you don't want to share it online, you can use Google Meets. You can take up notes. Okay, something like that. Okay, so that is how we choose our platforms appropriately. And then understanding data privacy implications, the most important thing when you're working in a technical field. Data privacy. Okay, so we'll be looking into more about this. So maintain professional standards across all platforms. So we're talking all this, like we saw before, all the professional etiquette, the voice, pace, tone, the body posture, the facial outputs, the way you put it out, everything matters, and that is what it's all about. Okay, so and the next one would be about key takeaways from, it's like a summary from what and all we saw. Okay, I'll just wrap this session up with this last slide. Okay, so psychology foundation. So what we saw, understanding cognitive biases improve communication effectiveness, which means how we judge about a person through his previous actions, his or her first impression, his negative trait, his positive trait. That's what we saw, right? So that is what about understanding cognitive biases. And emotional intelligence drive professional success. So like we also saw, like empathicism. Okay, so how can we empathize, how can we motivate? So that's the thing that we saw about them. And then vocal mastery, voice quality significantly impacts professional presence. Guys, I want you guys to take a small screen, I mean like a screenshot of this for a summary for you guys to have this in your mind. So you can just do that, okay, if you guys need it. Okay, so strategic use of tone, pace, and pause enhances message delivery. That's what we saw, right? So barrier navigation. How can we, overcome the barriers? So proactive identification of communication obstacle, to identify what kind of obstacle we are facing, and cultural sensitivity improve team dynamics. So we saw, like a non-native, you know how to talk to a non-native person, and you know what to talk to a non-native person, right? Not about his cultural preferences. So that is what about barrier navigation. And what is a digital excellence? So digital excellence, which is professional digital communication, requires specific skills like we saw before, all how to set up a camera, and your at your eye level, your body posture, your facial outputs, your tone, your vocal power. And that is what all this is about. And consistency across platform strengthens professional brand. So what is that consistency? Regularly attending the meetings like in Google Meet, Teams, and everything, like in a coffee shop. All those consistency, and keeping the data, you know improving the data's integrity between you guys, having the professionalism is what strengthens your professional brand. So that is what it's all about. These are the key takeaways. I hope you guys take a screenshot of this so that you have a whole summary of what you saw today. Okay, so